humbling.
I know there's a saying that God helps those that help themselves, but I think it's more God helps those because they can't help themselves.
Well, I'm becoming more and more convinced of that. I sure am. Sonia said tell everybody hi.
Okay. Or we said hello to her too. Be thinking about
Tell
her.
her that we love her and that we
Yeah.
kiss her tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
where, I guess
So
they're
we-
right here, I'm not sure either. I didn't put the journal.
So we're ready for John?
James.
James. I meant
So,
James.
yeah, James is the next apostle,
Right.
and I guess we'll start in Matthew 4:18.
4:18.
And a lot of these things overlap because he calls them, together sometimes when they're all together.
Did you hear what he said?
Did you catch what, James what?
It's just James is the next apostle, and we're going to start in Matthew 4:18. And James is the son of Zebedee, and I didn't know this till just a couple hours ago. And his mother is Salome, who was also loved Jesus and was there with the women when he was buried, and is also in scripture several times. And I didn't realize that was Salome. So Zebedee and Salome are the mother and father of James and John, because John's James's brother, and James is always mentioned first. So I guess that means he's the oldest brother. And they were nicknamed by Jesus the sons of thunder, or the Boanerges, which means sons of thunder. That's in Mark. We don't have to go there just yet, but it's in Mark 3:17, and Boanerges is a Aramaic for sons of thunder. So I guess they spoke in Aramaic, Jesus and the disciples. The Bible was written in Greek, but they spake in Aramaic,
Yeah.
and Boanerges is Aramaic, and it means sons of thunder. Now, I don't know why Jesus called them sons of thunder, unless it's those men, as they went out and preached powerful in the Spirit, is what I get out of that. We see John and James at times, at one time, Jesus was going somewhere and these men, we'll get to it, but they didn't receive him, and John, and I believe James was there with him, said, should we call fire down on these men to consume them like Elias did? And Jesus said, you know not what manner of spirit you're of. So these men were very zealous to serve the Lord, but the Lord had to harness this in the right way, that it would be according to the Spirit and not the flesh, because that was of the flesh. So he had to Jesus harnessed this to where that they would be preaching the truth in the Spirit. And so that, I don't know exactly why he called them the sons of thunder, but that's the only thing I can get, is thunder is a very powerful thing. And so I guess their preaching must have been pretty powerful. And James is one of those men, and he died. He was the first martyr in the church. Not the first martyr in the church, but the first martyr of the disciples. Judas died first, but James was the actual first martyr, and he died pretty young, supposedly about 44 AD. So he wasn't very old when he died, probably in his late 50s, maybe early 60s, something like that. I don't know when Jesus called him, so...
Right.
But here in Matthew the 4th chapter, in the 18th verse, and Jesus walking by the Sea of Galilee saw 2 brethren, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he saith unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they straightway left their nets
Yeah.
and followed him.
I love that.
And going on from thence, he saw other 2 brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets, and he called them. And they immediately left the ship and their father and followed him. And so they were with their father, and apparently their father owned this business, this shipping business, and they were helping him mend the nets, and Jesus called them, and they left their father there. And one of these Gospels, one of these accounts say that he left them there with the hired servants. So he had hired servants. They had hired servants helping them. So this is not a small fishing business. This is a good sized fishing business, that they had actual employees working for them. So I think that was a blessing to these men, that they were able to go out and preach the gospel and still had some sort of income coming in as their father aged and passed away, that they still, if they carried on with that business, that they still had this income coming in the sense that they didn't have to, they had these hired servants if they kept that going. I don't know that for sure, that they kept that going. That's speculation, but I can see how that would be a benefit to them if they had that. At least in our day and age, it would be a benefit. Now, I don't think they put their trust in that. I think their trust was in the Lord, that He provided for them as they went out. But the point being that they did have a decent sized business there, but they did leave it. They left that behind as Jesus called them, and immediately they left the ship and their father and followed him.
I kind of wonder what reaction their father would have had.
Yeah, where are you boys going?
Come on, who is that guy? What do you mean you're
Yeah.
following? You know?
They had been helping him probably since they were very little, I imagine.
Yeah.
So we don't know how old they were, but I imagine they'd been helping him in that trade for quite some time.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
That's 18 through 22.
Because it never talks about Zebedee or whether he comes to Jesus or anything, does it?
No, it doesn't. And let's see, Luke 5:11, I think, is where it might talk a little more about him, or about that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, there's less about James than there is Andrew. I'm surprised about that, actually.
I find it kind of funny that that he called them the sons of thunder. And John spoke so much about love.
Yeah,
I mean, that was practically everything he talked about, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah,
You would think of him as a quiet, you know?
Yeah. yeah.
It's funny.
Well, and I think that's a good point, Sister Donna. And I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about what love is. What is love? Is God, God is love, but what is that love? What does that love do when it comes into our life? Is that love just a passive, do anything you want kind of love? That love is powerful.
It is.
That
That's true.
love changes your life. I love you. I'm not letting you do what you're doing anymore. I'm changing you kind of love. this is sin kind of love. It tells the truth, right? It doesn't. It changes your life. It tells the truth, and really,
That's true.
it's really powerful. It's not, and I think John, when he and James, when they were called the sons of thunder, and that's why I say I think the Lord harnessed that sense of calling fire down, and he changed that to be love, but he changed it to be the right kind of,
Yeah.
the right kind of love.
True love doesn't always make people like you.
Yeah.
You look like
Yeah.
your brother.
Ask your kids.
Something like that. Remember my Frank?
Let's see. So here in Luke, you have it'd be Luke 5, and I guess we can go to. Well, I guess we'll just start in the first verse. Do you want to read that first verse down to about the 11th verse?
Okay. And it came to pass that as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of God, he stood by the lake of Gennesaret and saw 2 ships standing by the lake, but the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets. And he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people out of the ship. Now when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, Launch out into the deep, and let down your nets for a draught. And Simon answering said unto him, Master, we have toiled all the night, and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word I will let down the net. And when they had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their net brake. And they beckoned unto their partners, which were in the other ship, that they should come and help them. And they came and filled both ships, so that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man. Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. For he was astonished, and all that were with him, at the draught of fishes which they had taken. And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Jesus said unto Simon, Fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men. And when they had brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him.
So those men were there. They were also partners with Simon, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So they were partners. So there were 2 ships there, and they were partners with him. You know, they saw that big draught of fishes, and by nature, what you would want to do then, say, oh, right, so the Lord blessed us to catch all these fish, so now let's buy a bunch more fishing boats, and let's have the Lord bless us to catch and fill all these boats with fish. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what people do this day and age?
Sure do.
And then they fill all the fishing boats, and they say, look what the Lord blessed us with. He blessed us to fill all the fishing boats. And it just becomes idolatry.
Yeah.
And the Lord gets all the praise for filling all the fishing boats. And that's all the farther their religion goes with the Lord. Their fellowship with the Lord goes. That's pretty common, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I'd say.
It sure is.
I mean, it might sound bad to say that, but we see that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty common thing today. And we just say and they brag about that, and we have that in Scripture, that men brag about their nets and how they catch these fish, and they do sacrifice unto their nets because the Lord prospered them in that. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't thank God for our prosperity in
That's right.
whatever way the Lord prospers us.
That's right.
For sure, we should do that. We should give him thanks for that. But most of all, we should thank him for what he's done for us eternally.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should be thankful for what he's done for us eternally speaking. That I know we can't do even the natural things for ourselves, but most of all we should, and no doubt for what he does, for what he provides here.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yes.
but that's a different thing than what he's done here, what he's done with these disciples here. He's teaching them something, and
I think he provides for us so that we can keep our mind on spiritual things
right, yeah.
and not have to think about
Yeah.
natural things.
And Jesus even taught that. He said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be." That's like second thing. All these things will be provided. Don't worry about those things. I'll provide those things. But seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be provided. So he does. He puts that first. Stay focused on this. All that'll be taken care of.
What's the one about something for he careth for you? Basically, don't worry about,
Casting all your care upon him.
for
He
he
careth
careth
for
for
you.
you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
don't worry about those things. He's taking care of you.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was trying to teach them that he was more powerful than the
Yeah.
than the fish, maybe, or
Yeah.
the sea, or whatever. Yeah.
The one I
Showing
think's
his power.
The one I think's interesting, which I still don't quite get it. He says, Jesus said, if you by taking care, you can't add 1 cubit to your stature, why take ye thought for? If you can't do that which is least, why take ye thought for the rest? So is adding 18 inches to your stature easier than providing food for yourself? Is that what he's saying?
That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Probably. In other words, he provides all of our needs. He does
So
provide.
it's easier for the Lord to make me 18 inches taller? I'd like to be taller. That'd be kind of nice.
I'm not sure I want you 18
18
inches.
inches taller? Well, I don't know either, but I'm just saying, I just thought about that. A cubit's about 18 inches. I mean,
Yeah.
is it easier to add height to someone than to provide food for them?
If you just add 1 inch, you still don't have the ability to do that.
No.
Whether it's 1 inch or 18 inches, it's still
But if you can't do that
magnificent.
which is least, why
Yeah.
take you thought for the rest? I just
Yeah.
think that's an interesting statement. That just,
Yeah, because it
Blows me
seems
away.
to us it'd be easier just to go out and get some food.
right. We don't think about that because we have grocery stores and things like that. But where's that come from?
Yeah.
So the Lord provides that.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them's hard for him, apparently.
Right.
no.
But for us, I don't know. Maybe
I
that's a
mean,
strange
and
thought.
talking about like what you were saying about jobs, making money, but it's like anything. If we have a talent where we're good at something, and so I'm going to take this and go out and show the world my talent, and I'm
Yeah.
doing this for the Lord. I'm going to go, and it completely is their whole life,
Yeah.
And it's like, is that really what he wants?
Right. And since it prospers, we say, hey, the Lord
And the Lord's blessing.
caused us to prosper. And
Yeah,
that might be some truth in that, but did he want you to do that with it?
yeah.
Did he really want you to do that?
We like to do what we want to do and ask the Lord to bless it instead of the other way around.
There in Mark 1 and 20,
Can't even find Mark. It's right here. Jeez.
The little book of Mark. I don't read out of Mark all that much, but the reason I wonder if they kept that business is because at the end of the book of John, John says, I go a fishing.
Yeah, true.
And so they still had the boats. Now, I don't know if the fishing equipment was all just been sitting there for a long time and just kind of all rusty and dilapidated or what, but or if it was nice, still pretty decent equipment, you know, I don't know.
There could have been workers still
They're
using
still,
Yeah,
they
that's
could
what
have
I was
still been
thinking.
working. I
Possibly
don't
could be
know.
other workers.
His dad
Yeah.
still.
But that's
running
again
and
another
stuff.
thing. Jesus chose which
certain
one
ones, right?
to follow him.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't
So-
call the dad.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. You know, it's or if the dad was alive still, I don't know. Zebedee was still alive. I don't know that. We know Salome was, but we don't really know. But here he's in straightway in the 20th verse. And straightway he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the ship with the hired servants
Right.
and went after him. And that 18th verse says they forsook their nets and followed him. So they forsook their nets and followed him.
And they done it immediately. That's
They
that's the
did.
beauty of this thing.
Yep.
Yeah, there wasn't any. Can I think about it?
And I guess they.
Some of them tried that, didn't they?
I don't guess they knew where that was really going, did they?
I don't think so.
They
I don't think they had an inkling.
they let. I don't guess they did. They didn't know how far this was going to go. This Jesus shows up and he says, "Follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." I don't know if he said that at that time, did he? Well, in the
He said, "I will
17th
make you
verse, he
fishers
did.
of men."
But he said that to Andrew and Peter, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then,
And when he had gone a little further.
and when he had gone a little further, he saw James, his sons, David, and John, his brother.
he called them.
Because he had not really been out preaching, and I mean, he wasn't really well known at that point, I don't think.
Yeah, it was the very
I
beginning.
mean, he had done some miracles, like at the wedding feast and stuff like that, but I don't know.
So then, since we're there in Mark, we have Mark 5:37.
It makes me think of Jill's experience, where she said, at least this is the way Dad told it, that it was like the Lord just kept saying, "Come."
Think of Jill's experience, I guess.
And there was 2 or 3 things where that came up, and then that song "Come Unto Me" was sang, and that's when she joined church. But that always touched Daddy.
And I guess we'll start in 5 and 22, because we have to kind of back up a little bit for that.
Okay, 22.
Yeah.
And Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going on down to the 37th. Then is that right?
Yeah, and then it actually goes down to the whole the rest of the chapter,
Okay.
43. You want to start reading that, Brother Gary, in 22? And if
Okay.
you don't want to read the whole thing, you don't have to. You can pass the baton to Sister Donna.
And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus, by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood of 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, or in the crowd, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and by whole of thy plague. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado, and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entered in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is, being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat.
So back in that 22nd verse, this Jairus, the ruler of the synagogue, the thought came to me as Brother Gary read, and said, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet. And then over in the 27th verse, this woman that had this issue of blood 12 years, and when she had heard of Jesus. So these people, these two people, I think they had heard of Jesus. They had heard, what came to me was these disciples have been going around already speaking of Jesus. These men have already been going out and talking and speaking about Jesus, and he's starting to grow, his word starting to get out. When she heard of Jesus, so she already is beginning to hear of him. And how do we hear about Jesus? It's through the gospel. Faith cometh by hearing. And she has this faith that if she could just touch the hem of his garment, that she would be made whole. And this man, he already believes, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet. Now that doesn't come naturally.
No.
So he already has this belief in Jesus and besought that his little daughter would be healed. And on his way to heal this girl, that's when this woman has this experience that if she could just touch his garment, that she would be healed. And so then the woman fearing and trembling in that 33rd verse, knowing what was done in her, she knew something happened inside. She came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And says, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague. I just love that experience. So he heals a woman on the way to actually healing this girl, and the girl's dead already, but Jesus says, don't be afraid, but only believe. And even though she's died, he raises her from the dead right there. I can't imagine the feeling of elation the parents must have had,
Right.
that father must have had when his daughter was raised from the dead.
And do you think he told the people that she wasn't dead, she was just asleep? Because he didn't want them to know that he had raised her from the dead when he had done it. Because he told the parents, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never really thought about that like that. That's a good point, Sister Donna. That very well could be. The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And you know, Jesus did that. Oftentimes he did that with Lazarus. He said, you know, Lazarus sleepeth.
Yeah,
I mean, to Jesus, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
it's true.
Being asleep or dying, because he can speak, and it's the same difference as waking somebody up from sleep. And so since they laughed him to scorn, he puts them out. And them that were with him, so that would be Peter, James, and John, right? And they entered in where the damsel was. So they experienced seeing her raised from the dead.
And he
So
tells
he-
him to get her something to eat.
I know. Feed her.
So he charged those that were inside there, Peter, James, John, and the mother and father, didn't
Yeah.
he? To not tell anyone. Yeah.
It's always kind of a mystery. The ones he says, don't tell anyone, and the ones he says, go out and tell everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they kind of happen at the same time. I mean, it's not like, it's hard to discern
Yeah.
Now, on,
why the difference.
just kind of curious on that 43rd where you're talking. And he charged him straight that no man should know it. And this is not the first time he said something similar to this. But
Right.
why was it that he did not want the other people that witnessed this to tell others?
I know, because,
what-
I mean, wouldn't they have known anyway? I mean, they knew she
Well-
was dead.
That was-
Well,
mean-
I don't know.
but he said that she wasn't dead. They all thought she was dead. Then they laughed him to scorn. So then when she came out, they probably thought, well, I guess she wasn't dead. The ones that laughed.
Yeah, but why would he
I think it
Say
was.
not to.
tell those five, or however many was there,
I think.
not to go out and tell other people
Right.
about this?
I think it was because his popularity. He didn't want to get that popular. he didn't want to be
It wasn't.
that. It was too hard. It would have been too hard for him to get around like he wanted to.
Like maybe it wasn't that time in his ministry,
Yeah. Yeah.
because those kinds of things also brought a lot of persecution to him too.
Sure.
Yeah. Brought a lot of
That's
people,
always-
a lot of persecution.
That's what's intrigued me, that thought.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? You sent your disciples out to preach these things,
His
but to preach the kingdom of heaven is
was-
in what they were preaching.
Yeah.
But,
Dad always felt like where it said he was in the heart of man, heart of the earth, 3 days, 3 nights, that was phases of his ministry, which
Yeah.
I've heard
brought
that.
him to
I probably heard that
his
from Brother Don.
crucifixion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue that at all.
It does seem like it was, well, I know it must have been very purposeful
Yeah.
to bring him to the point where they would crucify him at the exact time that they did it.
Right.
But it's
It had to
hard
have gotten really hard for Jesus to travel with that many people around him wanting to be healed and
Yeah.
different things. There was already a throng of people around him when he was,
Right.
because he
Right.
said to the disciples said, "Why are you saying who touched you when there's so many people around you?"
Yeah.
This press of people.
In
That's
other words, you can't
How could you
Figure
even
out who
tell?
touched you.
Right.
All
There's
you-
so many that touched
been anybody.
you. Right, right. What kind of a question is that?
I think the account, I think it's over in Matthew, the account of, I don't know if it's the same account or not, I think it probably is, but the woman, Jesus said Jesus felt virtue go out of him, which
Yeah.
is like strength. Well, it says here
it says
it
it
did
here,
too.
too.
And I think when he turned around, I think the woman was just like a sore thumb. I mean, I think she just stuck out in that crowd before he knew. As soon as he turned around, he could tell who that virtue came out of him and who it
Went
went into,
Yeah.
who received that virtue. I think he just knew right away. But he wanted that woman to confess his name right there in front of everyone. Because confession is made unto salvation. The reason he wanted her to confess that, he wanted her to have that salvation.
Right.
And that's why the Lord wants us to confess it. When we come into the church, the Lord wants us to confess his name because he wants us to have that salvation.
Right.
That's the only reason he wants us to, when we come forth, that he wants us to confess that the Lord has done something, that we confess him, that we believe in him, and we submit to that baptism gladly. And it's because we know the Lord loves us, and we confess that, and we submit to that gladly because he wants us to have that salvation. And so, the man believeth unto, how's it worded, Brother Gary? Man with the heart, man believeth unto, can't even quote it.
Sorry, I can't quote stuff like you do.
With the heart.
So I just sit
man-
here and wait until you quote it. I just don't have that ability.
With the heart man believeth unto righteousness. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
And with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. So with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. So I think that's why he wanted her to confess that right there. She believed already, but we need to confess it.
Here's an interesting place here in Luke about that, about the virtue had gone out of him. Jesus immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him. Luke 6:19.
6:19.
Yeah. So we think of these individual situations. But listen to this. Luke 6:19, if you're there. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and he healed them all.
Yeah.
And the whole multitude. Because people was coming to him and grows, so to
Yeah.
speak, you know.
Yeah, I think so too.
And he had the power to heal one, and he had the power to heal all of them present. That is
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Is it any easier to ease one? Is it more difficult to heal all that was present? No.
Yeah.
How he does it, don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But he does it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of why I think that he kind of had to keep things a little bit quiet there for a while, because he was just getting,
Yeah.
there was just had to have been, like you said, droves of people
Yeah.
just coming
Yeah.
to
And
be
were.
around
They
him.
come from all
Just
around.
let's just keep this quiet because,
But it come to a point where it couldn't be kept quiet.
yeah.
And the more he tried to keep it quiet, I think there's more people.
Like you said, those phases of
Yeah.
his ministry just
Yeah, and
kept
I
getting
like
bigger
that.
and bigger.
I see that same thing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we would hear, there's a man healing people
Yeah.
down on the square in Bloomington?
Where's
Can you
he at?
imagine
Where's
the
he at?
crowds that would
Yeah.
show up over
Sure.
days as it went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
First we would be like, we don't
Yeah.
believe that. And then there'd be like more rumor about it. And we would,
or you know
I don't
somebody.
know. Well,
that
maybe there is
went
something
and
going
found
on.
out, yeah.
then we'd be like, maybe we ought to go down there.
Let's go check it out.
I got some aches and pains, you know. And then we go down there, and there'd be thousands of people.
Yeah.
And then we'd be trying to get up front.
Well, that one, they lowered somebody down through the
Right.
roof.
Yeah. They tore the roof off
So
the
he could
house
be
when he
washed.
was in to
Yeah.
get.
Went to great lengths to. Yeah.
The
Kind of
next,
that way when you hear rumors of a church that's growing.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to go. Like all them men that went over the Philippines.
And some of those men done some mighty preaching. I have tapes at home of some of the preaching, and it was mighty. But they had this crowd. They preached out in the open, or so many they didn't have any buildings to hold them. So many preachers. It still is all amazing.
next place is in Matthew 17. This we've read this just recently too with Peter and Andrew, I think, or Peter, but James and John was there as well.
Yeah.
Matthew 17, did you hear him? Matthew 17.
Matthew did.
Mm-hmm.
17.
I don't know what verse, but
We'll start in the first verse, and then if you want to read Sister Donna down to maybe the 9th verse.
Okay. And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment as white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias, talking with him. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them and said, Arise and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man, save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountain, Jesus charged them, saying,
Yeah.
Tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead.
Yeah, there it is again.
There it is.
So Peter, James, and John were kind of those three that Jesus took with him oftentimes, that are mentioned by name. For some reason, those three men seemed to be, and they were in the fishing trade together, and then they were kind of together as disciples oftentimes.
Were they the ones at the, well, I guess we'll get there, never mind.
Never mind.
I'll wait and see.
Let's see. Okay, we got another one here in Luke 9:53. Now I mentioned this, but we'll go ahead and read it because I'm sure there's details in there that,
Luke 9:53.
I'm sorry, I'm not speaking loud
Luke
enough.
9:53. Mark, Luke, always Luke. Well, I'm
9:53.
almost said that I couldn't find it.
We'll start in 51.
9:53, because it went in the. Okay, that.
Sister Linda, you want to read that? Start 51 and read down to 56, through 56.
56, right?
51 through 56.
Okay. And it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face. And they went and entered into a village of Samaritans, and make ready for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. And when his disciples James and John saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? But he turned and rebuked them, and said, Ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village.
So that's the sons of thunder there. They want to destroy men's lives. Jesus. But, we laugh, but it's really not funny, really, because they didn't receive Jesus because he was as though he would go to Jerusalem, but so then straight away, then they want to just turn against these people and think ill of them, right? And do ill toward them. So should we, that's pretty,
Because they didn't receive him.
because they didn't receive him. So that's pretty scary for them to say, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? Remember when Elias did that? Yeah. These 50 men came to Elias, and I believe he was up on this hill, and they wanted him to come down, and he called fire down on these men, and it destroyed them, it killed them. I don't know if that was lightning or what that was, but this fire came down and killed them. And so this king sent 50 more to him, and he called down fire again and killed them. And the third group came, and they walked on eggshells and said, don't kill us. The first thing they said, don't kill us, and said, if you want to come down, I'm paraphrasing, if you want to come down and if you want to come with us, the king wants to talk to you. We could look it up and read it, but they were their attitude was completely different when they came to Elias, and the Lord said, go with them. And so their attitude was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're using that scripture because these men won't receive Jesus. But Jesus' attitude is completely different. They won't receive me, but he's not going to do like Elias did. He's just going to go to a different village.
Now is Elijah?
I think that's Elijah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Elijah.
Maybe we should go over and look at that.
Elijah and
See.
Elias are not the same, are they?
Well,
Elias and Elijah are the same.
it's either Elijah or Elisha is who Elias is.
Right.
In,
It's
It's in
Elijah.
2 Kings 1,
and
very beginning of 2 Kings. 2 Kings 1.
I know Elijah came first. Well, see, I know. I think.
Elisha came after Elijah. Elisha came after.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 2 Kings what?
First chapter.
First one. Yeah, it's Elijah.
So we're going to have to back up here. Let's see. Find a good starting place. We might just have to start at the beginning of the chapter. It's not that much reading. It's not too bad. This is not too long of a chapter even, really. If y'all don't mind reading a little bit. So, Sister Ruth, you want to start reading, and then I'll pick up wherever you stop. We'll just take turns and we'll read through this.
Do you know where he is?
Where?
What?
2 Kings, first chapter.
How far up?
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
Where would you want us?
Read down to about the end of the 6th verse, and then I'll take up right there.
Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and whatever fell down to
Ahazariah.
the lake in this upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go inquire of Beelzebub, the
Beelzebub.
god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, It is not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron. Now, therefore, thus saith the Lord, thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shall surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back unto them, he said unto them, why are you now turned back? And they said unto them, there came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, go, turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord, it is not because there is not a God in Israel, thou that sendest to inquire of Beelzebub. I can't even get it out.
Beelzebub.
Oh, the God of Ekron. Therefore, thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up. Thou shalt surely die.
Okay.
And he said unto them, what manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these words? And they answered him, he was a hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, it is Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of a hill. And he spake unto him, thou man of God, the king hath said, come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Again also he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto them, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. And he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life, the life of these thy 50 servants, be precious in thy sight. Behold, there came fire down from heaven and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore let my life now be precious in thy sight. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, thus saith the Lord, forasmuch as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore thou shalt not come down off that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. So he died according to the word of the Lord by Elijah, which Elijah had spoken. And Jeroham reigned in his stead in the 2nd year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Azariah, which he did, are they not written in the books of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So that's what he's referring to here. That's what John is referring to. So John was very well versed in the Old Testament, James and John, and he wants to know, ask Jesus, can we call down fire and destroy these people that won't receive you,
Right.
just like Elijah did?
Right.
That's what, to me, it was worth reading that, just because it's a very interesting situation there that Elijah was in. That, to me, it was the attitude of that king. You go get that prophet. Like, that king has power over that prophet, and he found out that he didn't, that God was in control, that the Lord was in control of that situation. And so the third captain of the third 50, he comes and beseeches that prophet. And you see his attitude, it's very humble. And it just totally changes. And then the Lord says, go with him. And then he's able to go. And the message hadn't changed. It's because that king had inquired of this Beelzebub. The Beelzebub is a fly god. It's of the devil. It was a fly god. It was a false god. And so he inquired of that false god instead of, he kept repeating, is it because there's not a true living God in Israel? And so he knows there's the true God is in Israel. So why was he inquiring of that false god? That's what he keeps saying.
Now, Ahaziah was an Israelite, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the king, wasn't he?
King of Israel.
Yeah.
That's what I
Not
thought.
Judah, but Israel.
Yeah, Israel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And so that's how we get back to James and John wanting to call this fire down on these people that won't receive Jesus. And I think we need to be careful, brethren, that we need to be real careful, I think, in our day right now. I think this is a real good lesson for us right now.
Yeah.
If we're around folks that even believe different, or even folks that don't believe at all,
Yeah.
that we need to be real careful that we don't have the wrong attitude.
Yes,
That we would-
absolutely.
That we would feel like that somehow that we would be like James or John, Lord, just, I don't know if that would be a sense of condemnation, condemn them for not loving you or receiving you. We didn't have any sense of receiving the Lord and loving the Lord before he came into our lives. We didn't have any control over that. It's by God's divine grace that he did that. And we didn't have, and so Jesus just went into another village. He came to save men's lives, not to destroy them. They're already destroyed by nature. Adam already did that. So Jesus didn't come to destroy something that's already destroyed. Adam did a fine job at that already. And Jesus knows that. So he came to actually save people's lives. And so he actually rebukes the disciples there in the 55th verse. And he turned and rebuked them. That's James and John. And said, ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village.
Shake the dust off of your feet and move on.
Shake the dust off and move on. Right. That's what he did. Yeah. That's exactly what he did. I think it's pretty interesting talking to folks, and sometimes it is a little frustrating talking to people at work that I know some people, they believe in Allah and you name it, Allah and Buddha and Hinduism and all these different things, and I see them, I realize it's just falsehood, but you gotta try to be non-offensive to some extent if you want to have a conversation and try to say the truth to them and try to speak what is the truth, so, and not cut their ear off so they'll at least listen, and it gets pretty hard sometimes, but you have to be able to do that without being too offensive, or they won't hear you at all. They won't even listen.
They can't hear you until the Lord would open it up.
Well, yeah.
I mean, these are all false gods they're worshiping.
Yeah.
Buddha is a big fat guy sitting up there and worship it
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
I had down at the office one time, I had a couple insured, and they were quite religious folks. They were local people. And so I had some little figurines. One of them happened to be a Buddha. Didn't mean anything to me, but I thought he was kind of cute. I set him up there with 2 or 3 other people on a little shelf. And she come in, Jerry Hendricks. You remember Jerry Hendricks?
I do.
That name
Susie
sounds
was his
familiar,
wife.
but I don't.
Susie come in there and she stopped all of a sudden in front of the counter and said, Gary, I never thought I'd see this Buddha in your office. That is the most, it's sure not God. I said, no, it's not God. It's a freaking piece of plaster or something, I said, I know it's not God. But she really got offended. I took it down.
Yeah.
I threw it away. And she was just offending her over it,
Yeah.
but to me, it was just a cute figurine. That's all it
It's
was.
funny, I read an article recently that the Buddha we know, the fat, cute,
Yeah,
smiley one,
yeah.
that was, I think it was the, if I get them wrong, the original one wasn't like that.
I know that, yeah,
And it
Oh, really?
was the
Yeah, I read
country
that too.
that really believed in Buddha
yeah.
did not come up with that. I think it was China that came up with that Buddha,
Is
the
that right?
fat,
I didn't know
cheerful
that.
one,
Yeah.
to make it more popular.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because-
That's funny.
They
Because
sold
they could
millions
sell
of those
more
things.
Buddhas because everybody thought it was cheerful and
Yeah.
stuff.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the ones that really
Yeah,
believed
it wasn't the
in it that
original,
came
wasn't
up
the
with
Buddha.
it.
It was a thin
It was
man.
a
Not
mar-
the original.
It was a
Buddha.
marketing, it was a marketing ploy.
A marketing scheme.
Yeah,
Your dad
I
called
thought
it
that was
Humpty
interesting.
Dumpty.
Humpty
I
Dumpty,
Yeah.
yeah.
got some tickle in Brother Leslie, that little Humpty
That
Dumpty
little
guy.
Humpty Dumpty
He'd be
guy.
preaching, and you know that little Humpty
I
Dumpty
never heard him
guy.
say that.
Yeah.
He said
he'd
that
say,
Well, I
"Oh,
didn't
that
hear him
little-
preach all the time.
oh,
He said
that's
that-
your Humpty Dumpty.
He said that in the pulpit
No
preaching.
kidding.
We like to crack up
That is
laughing.
wild. I
It
never
was
I
so
heard
always
funny.
think of when I
Little
think
Humpty
of
Dumpty. You know that little, I can't think of his name. What is that? That little Humpty
little
Dumpty
Humpty
guy.
Dumpty.
Everybody knew what it was.
Yeah,
We
we
knew
knew
what
what
it
he
was. Yes, it was
It
so
just was
funny.
so funny
Oh,
that
dear.
he called it.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Kinda soothing.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
in Mark 10:35, you're not taking off, are you?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
So Mark 10:35. Keep going that way.
Yeah, it's dark, time to leave now.
Uh-huh.
10:45.
It's gonna be dark when you get home.
It's already dark.
It's still gonna be dark when you get home.
Ain't gonna be any darker then than it is now.
Right.
Hug your baby out there for me.
Sure enjoyed your fellowship.
Should get you. Is it okay?
Normal.
What?
You don't know what that means, do
No,
you?
no, sorry.
No, I have a, what, for restaurant,
Uh-huh,
auditorium,
uh-huh.
mute.
Oh, oh.
And normal.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's good.
I take my hearing aids out at the old grad day
Oh, did you?
Saturday.
Oh,
That background noise was hard. I take them out. It
Oh,
was,
really?
Yeah.
you couldn't understand anybody.
No, I know it
Ah.
was very
Be
talk, I
careful
mean,
at
it was,
Wow.
well, there was
You will, won't
200
you?
some people in there and they were all
My
talking. Susie, she was trying to, talk and she finally got most of them pretty well, it's quieted down, she like never got
Oh,
them.
my goodness.
I couldn't hear a thing with my hearing aid in.
No, I bet,
Oh, my
okay.
goodness.
No, it's just awful hard to visit her,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Okay, what'd you
Mark
say, 10:35?
Yeah, but then it actually, I don't know, maybe Matthew's might
See
be
you
better.
later.
Bye-bye.
Now that I stood up, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Would you go for me? I gotta go really, really bad. Hurry. Hurry.
This is hurrying.
Oh,
This is hurrying as it is.
she can't hurry that.
I can't.
That's her running.
Well, let's go to Matthew instead, 20, Matthew 20. But it's the same, I think it's the same episode or same,
Matthew 20,
Matthew 20 and
not 10.
it's 2020, Matthew 2020.
2020, all right.
Okay.
You want to read that?
Starting 20?
Huh?
How far you want me to
no,
read?
it won't. Let's see. Let's see. Read till the 24th.
2024?
Yeah. Then came him the mother of Zebedee's children, with her sons, worshiping him, and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my 2 sons may sit, the one on thy right hand and the other on thy left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. So we started some drama there.
Yeah. I don't know if Mark's any different or not. What's that, Mark 10:35?
So she knew her sons were disciples, but she wanted them to have, she's trying to get them a higher spot? Is that what she
Yeah,
thinks
sounds,
she's doing?
sounds like to me, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. 10:35, it says down on 37, they said unto him, Grant us unto us that we may sit, one on thy right hand and the other on thy left in thy glory.
Yeah.
Now it's 10:35.
Uh-huh.
Mark, okay. I had 45.
No, it's 35.
Yeah, and you know, if you keep reading too,
Excuse me.
if you keep reading too, it's kind of the same thing in Mark, but it doesn't mention that the mother brought them to
Right.
Jesus. It just says the sons of Zebedee came to Jesus and asked, saying, Master, we would that thou would do for us whatsoever we desire.
Right.
In the 35th verse. That's Mark 10:35. And then, but then in the 42nd verse, Jesus called, well, let's go back to Matthew. Sorry, I think Matthew's
Okay.
a little bit better. It's 20:20 in Matthew, Sister Donna.
Okay, 20. Well, I thought I was looking at that while ago. Didn't sound right. 2020.
And so I guess that's Salome, the mother of Zebedee's children, and she's worshiping him and desiring a certain thing, that her boys might be the greatest. That's kind of what it amounts to, right? That they'll sit with Jesus on the right hand and the left hand in his kingdom. In that 21st verse, and then, but Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. And then he says, Are ye able to drink of the cup that I drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? And they answered unto him, We are able. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of the cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. So I think that they are going to drink that cup he drank from, and they're going to be baptized with that baptism. And I think that's the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. And I think that cup they're going to drink of is that cup of suffering, and that cup of also of salvation, and that the cup that it's the good things that the Lord experienced in that fellowship with the Father, but I think it's also the sense of suffering and the crucifixion, and you just name it, the things that Jesus went through, that he taught them. They're going to go through that same thing.
Right.
Would that be kind of like eating his body and drinking his
Yeah.
blood?
think it is.
Yeah.
But to, Jesus answered and said, I lost my place. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them to whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. And then he goes into in the 25th verse.
So is that 10 the other disciples, the other apostles?
I think so.
Okay.
They were wanting the same thing, probably. That's probably why they're mad. It's probably why they're moved with indignation. They probably wanted the same thing. Hey, we were going to ask that for that. And then he goes into this discourse about Jesus called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And that word minister means servant. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant or your slave. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and give his life a ransom for many. So he just turned that. They were wanting to be great, and Jesus just turned that and taught them something. If you want to be great, you're going to have to be the least of all.
Right.
Now that cup, he was saying they would drink of the same cup and be baptized. They were thinking, I bet that's going to make them high up. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And it's really quite the opposite.
It's just the opposite. Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't really understand it, and that's what he said when you don't know what you're really asking.
Yeah,
Where did he say that at?
that must
In
have
the-
been in Mark.
Might be in Mark.
Well, in the 22nd verse, he says, "You know not what ye ask."
Oh, yeah. there it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
He
You know
hadn't
not what
been
you ask. Yeah, that's what I
crucified
was looking
yet.
for. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. You know not what you ask. So yeah, they didn't understand what they were even asking for. They had no idea.
Right.
Another place where he says that he doesn't even have a place to lay his head. I remember talking about his life, basically, the life he led.
And let's see, there's another one in Mark 13:3, and then there's just one more after that.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where they 13:1 it says, and as he went out of the temple, one of the disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And Jesus answering said unto him, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be one stone left upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, Tell us when these things shall be, and what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled. So they were all there together is really what I was wanting to bring out, is that James was there with them when they looked at the temple and the buildings and all these stones, and when he explained the destruction of Jerusalem, basically is what he explained to them about this whole destruction of Jerusalem. It's quite a discourse, really, about that.
Yeah,
James heard that. And that actually happened
right.
after James had been killed already. That is one thing we do know about James. In the Bible itself, it tells how James was killed, and it's in Acts, and that's our last scripture for James. I might have missed some of these. If you come across some, you might holler. It's in Acts 12.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot to read. It doesn't say much about it. It just says that he killed him. He says in the first verse in Acts 12, 1 and 2, he says, Now about that time Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church. So now James is beginning to drink that cup that Jesus said that you will drink the cup that you are. He asked him, are you able to drink the cup that I drink? And James said yes. And Jesus said, you are able. And now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because it pleased the Jews to proceed, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter or Passover to bring him forth to the people. So that's that experience where Peter was delivered, but he had killed James with the sword, so we know how James was killed anyway. And that's the end of James. He really didn't preach all that long. I mean, it was, they claim about 44 AD. So
That kind of makes, I don't know why I've not thought of it before, but that kind of makes why they were so amazed to see Peter.
Yeah.
Makes a little more sense,
yeah,
you know. They'd been praying for him.
But they knew that James had been killed.
Yeah.
So,
And I assume Peter was probably with him or
yeah.
yeah.
It's amazing.
So that's James, one of the sons of thunder.
Yeah.
He was killed for preaching the gospel of Jesus.
That's the Sons of Thunder, that just, thunder, when you're around, you're gonna hear. You're gonna hear the thunder.
Yeah.
And that's how they preached with the power of the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
where people could hear
Yeah.
by the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
You know, storms are brewing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a universal language. Everybody knows a storm, don't they?
Sure do.
There's no mistaking what that is.
I love a good storm, I do. I'm amazed at the power.
So that James, the brother of John, the son of Zebedee, but then the other James was the brother of Jesus.
Yeah, the book of James was not written by this
Right.
James.
Right.
That James is the brother of Jesus,
Right.
half brother of Jesus, I guess.
Well,